Hi, everybody. My name is Shevtsova. I'm from Ukraine, and I would like to present you the research like Biwa Canal at Kyoto, Japan, sustainable development and revitalization. Lake Biwa Canal is a very interesting engineering waterway project. It connects Lake Biwa and Kyoto. You can see here Lake Biwa, a very big lake, and Kyoto. It was built in the end of 19th century in order to revive Kyoto after the transfer of the capital to Edo, Tokyo, in 1868, and served to supply Kyoto with drinking and industrial water, as well as for cargo transportation. You can see here. The aim of the work is to determine the historical periods of Lake Biwa Canal's existence and to highlight its significance for ensuring the sustainable development of Kyoto. The research was conducted at Kyoto, mainly with field studies and interview methods. The major restoration was the period when Japan, that delayed its technical progress due to the centuries of isolation, finally opened its borders to the world. The executor and senior engineer was Sakura Tanabe. You can see here his photo in his quite old time, but when he completed the project, he was a young man. His graduation thesis was concerned of Lake Biwa Canal construction. So the authorities of Kyoto, who managed the project, invited him for the work immediately after his graduation. Lake Biwa Canal construction was the first Japanese big industrial project completed only by local engineers. All works were fulfilled mostly by manpower. The Biwa Canal consists of two main branches. First of them was started in 1895 and completed 5 years after. It is 20-kilometer long system of open water sections interleaved with 4 tunnels. The most long of them, the Nagarayama tunnel, is 2.5 kilometers long. It was constructed with progressive, at the time, vertical shafts methodic. You can see here. The 2 constructive shafts used at 19th century for digging tunnel are still visible now and served like in ventilation and emergency exit shafts. The second canal branch was completed 20 years later to increase the volume of Kyoto water supply. It is only 7.5 kilometers long, but is deeper and running completely in the tunnel. With the completion of the first canal, the first Japan business use hydraulic power station was constructed at Kyiv area, as well as filtration station for purifying potable water coming from Biwa Lake through the canal. You can see here the beginning of the canal from Lake Biwa. And here the point where the Lake Biwa Canal is entering into the Kyoto. It's area of Kyiv. There can be seen 2 interesting features of the waterway. The first is a narrow side canal branch passing through special brick construction here, similar with ancient Rome aqueduct known as Nanzenji Shirokaku and now becoming famous touristic point of Kyoto. The second is the way of boat transportation from Kyiv point to nearby Nanzenji pond, where it was impossible to create waterway because of more than 30-meter high differences of Lake Biwa and Kyoto watersheds. Therefore, the boats reached to the Kyoto using so-called Kyiv incline, a half-kilometer long slope equipped with rails. From Kyiv point, the boats were loaded on small open railway cars. Here you can see the really preserved one. moved down in the incline with the principle of cable car to Kyoto Nanzaji Pond, where the canal continued at Kyoto area. Canal water also served for the creation of several temple water pond landscape gardens like Honenin, Hienjingu, a shrine, and Villa Murinan, and others. The most interesting of them are the masterpieces of famous Japanese garden designer Shigemori Mirei. After the Second World War, the boat transportation of Lake Biwa Canal was interrupted completely because the railway developing that finally gained main role for cargo and passengers transportation of Kyoto. In the beginning of 1907, Kyoto authorities tried to revitalize Biwa Canal by some landscape gardening and ecological steps. They improved a small side canal branch flowing from Kyiv to Ginkakuji temples as landscape philosophers' path. Former Kyiv incline with preserved rails was restored as Sakura Garden. At Yamashina area, along the canal way from Biwa Lake was created Higashiyama Ryokuchi Park. In 1996, Lake Biwa Canal was designated as National Historic Site. At the same time, was constructed Lake Biwa Canal Museum. You can see here that is gathering artifacts, archive, and scientific materials of the canal history. Like here, it's old maps of the local places. In 2018, Biwa Canal vivified significantly. There was renewed tentative touristic boat transportation of the first canal. Here you can see some photos of the experience of riding these small touristic boats through the tunnels. As a result of a research, it became possible to determine 3 historical periods of the Lake Biwa Canal existence. You can see here the periods. In the first period, from construction to the middle of 20th century here, the canal combined water supply, transportation, and landscape shaping function. It was fundamental to the sustainable development of Kyoto being its main revitalizing force. In the second period, it's the second half of 20th century, the canal was declined, preserved only water supply and landscape functions. Its transportation role was lost as the canal gave the impression of a partly abandoned place. In the third period, since the very end of 20th century, the canal was designated as National Historic Site and the campaign of its revitalization began. The canal acquired touristic and educational function, its new function for the canal. Increased once more its role to the sustainable development of Kyoto, also trying to revitalize its lost a half century ago transportation function. Only in tentative meaning now, but maybe it will be developed later. As a conclusion, it can be noticed that at the time of its construction, the Lake Biwa Canal was the main driving force that determined at the end of 19th century the urban development of modern Kyoto. Now we can talk about the opposite process, when Kyoto city supports the sustainable development of the canal. Thank you for your attention.